It is the morning sports desk for Monday, March 25th. I'm CJ Baumgartner, joined by Corey Tackman. Corey, a busy weekend of basketball and brackets and all the like. Before we get into the bracket mayhem update, and my bracket's in a brutal spot. Before we get to that, let's talk about some other basketball brackets. The state boys basketball tournament, Corey, was held over the weekend. We gave some updates throughout the semifinal or the quarterfinal and the semifinal rounds on Thursday and Friday, but championship Saturday came and went. We'll give you the updates on those championship games. Obviously, Cherry coming away with the 1A crown. They beat Ferto Beltrami pretty handily, 78-40 in that one. Other local news in Class A, Nevis beat West Central area in the third place game, 64-51. So the Tigers third place, and the Knights are in fourth place in Class A to end the state tournament. For 2A, Breck, the Mustangs, win the state championship. They beat Lake City 76-72. Albany takes home third place after they beat Minnehaha 70-53. Looking at some other spots, Pequot Lakes won the consolation championship over Jackson County Central 51-44. In 3A, Totino Grace beat Mankato East 73-64. And of course, there was that big alley-oop dunk, Corey. That was the highlight of the weekend from the state tournament. Massive. My brother was down there for the AAA award, and they were waiting for halftime of the game to go on the court and do all that kind of stuff. So they were just sitting courtside, and he was like, I was kind of on my phone when it happened, and you just kind of started to see the play happen midair or kind of see it as it just happened. And he got home because he recorded the game and rewound to that specific spot, and you can see his face, and it's just like he can't even believe what's just happening. Did you have a chance to see that play, Corey?
I saw a replay of it. I was confused because they rearranged the order of the championship games.
Mm-hmm.
They did 1A and 3A in the first session, and then 2A and 4A in the second session. So I had stuff going on Saturday. I was at Aldrich Tractor for their grand opening.
Mm-hmm.
So I turned the game on, was expecting to see the end of the 2A championship, and then the 3A stuff was happening. And I turned it on in time for them to get to like a commercial break. And out of the commercial break, they're like, here's a recap of what's happened so far. And they're, like, oh, here's a steal and a layup, or the guy had 2 steals and 2 possessions in a row and a couple flushes. And then they're like, and then check this out. That's going down. That's going down.
Did that make Sports Center yet?
Well, that's as big of a dunk as when Tyler Johnson from Minneapolis North jumped over that kid from Goodhue. Just an unbelievable mammoth dunk.
Mm-hmm. Insane. So I found the picture that my brother recorded from the thing. So here is the actual play happening, and the light is kind of messing up how you can see it. But if you scroll in, like, he's right there, just like just beside himself. Like, what just happened? So that's good. I'm gonna use that from now. It's very pixelated. It's very bad, but I'm gonna hold that over him. So yeah, that was the big play, although, of course, Totino Grace ends up winning that one. In the third place game, De La Salle beat Alexandria 58-53, so Alexandria fourth place in the 3A tournament. And then the big 4A tournament, it was Minnetonka versus Wayzata. The state champions were denied. The defending state champions were denied. Minnetonka wins 72-61. And that's pretty much it in terms of local connections throughout the tournament. Other teams that were in the tournament didn't get to play or didn't make it to that Saturday games for the consolation championships and whatnot. But Corey, another year of winter sports in the books now officially. And I'd say that we can turn towards spring sports, but we got a foot of snow and it's blowing around everywhere as we speak. So maybe we do need to start playing more basketball.
Well, we've got, thank goodness we've got March Madness stuff. We'll run through that in just a jiffy that, we can hang on to this March Madness stuff. Thank goodness. But yeah, technically, the first games of the softball season are for tomorrow. Technically, we could be preparing for our first softball broadcast in about 30 hours. Technically.
Yes.
I will not be getting the gear ready for that. And you can do it just in case there's like a pocket where like in Monaga, it didn't snow at all.
Right. In preparation for the snowstorm, they built a roof over the field and with walls and everything. And yeah. If that's the case, then here we go.
Then you got it, buddy.
Let's do this thing. Unless somebody wanted to move it to like, does St. Cloud State have a bubble? I think they have like an indoor.
So, yeah. I think so, yeah.
So yeah, unless somebody who just wanted to go down and play in St. Cloud, although I'm sure that's already been rented out for.
Not yet. It's not. There's no rush yet. We're not there. They've played entire seasons in 5 weeks. We're a long ways away from that. There's no rush yet.
Right. Exactly. And honestly, the fields were like ready to go last week. So, one nice string of warm days. It's not like we have 3 feet of snow and got another foot dumped on. This is it. So, a few warm days in a row will clean up a lot of what's going on.
If we have 3 days in a row of 50, you could play on that third day.
Yeah, exactly. So, depending on how dry it gets. But either way, that's and of course, track and field, I'm sure, is going to be up in Bemidji at some point doing something.
Although that's already been postponed also. That first Bemidji state meet has been.
Because I think there was supposed to be something like tomorrow, but I think the snowstorm made everybody kind of go, let's not do that. So things have wrapped up there. All right, Corey, it's time. Basketball Mayhem 2024. What do we got?
Basketball Mayhem presented by the Liquor Depot in Staples. Let's take a look at the overall leaderboard. After the first 2 rounds in the first weekend, CJ, we have 2 people atop the leaderboard with 50 points. That is Corey Wilson and Julie Bushinger. Scott Cascatello is alone in second. And then it is a 5-way tie for third place. 50 points for first place, 49 for second so far. The third placers have 48 points. Corey Wilson has a second bracket. He's in first and third place.
Can he give me one of his brackets, please?
He joins Jeremy Dukowicz, John Hillica, Craig Current, and Michael Willis in 48 points. To round out the top 10, tied for fourth place with 47 points, Dave Gottwalt and Kenny Callahan, and also Corey Tackman. Hi, I lead the VIP group with 47 points through the first weekend. Zeke is in second with 46. Kyle is in third with 44. Then you have an unbelievable drop off into fourth place with 35 points, CJ, ahead of the Liquor Depot with 34 and Mike Melanich with 33. What the heck happened?
Well, here's the thing. I trusted Nebraska to win an NCAA tournament game, something they've never done before. And I predicted them to win like 2 or 3 times because they felt like that trendy pick and they fell flat on their face. So that hurt me. Kentucky getting upset in the first round, as we talked about on Friday, definitely hurt me. Kansas, my pick to get to the national championship game and lose, but still get there, decided to get upset in the second round after avoiding an upset to Sanford, thanks to some ref ball, then decided to just bow out in the second round to Gonzaga. So thanks a lot, Bill Self. You suck. And Hunter Dickinson also sucks. And that's pretty much it. That's where things went very wrong for me. And like, if you look at a couple sides of the bracket, like the top left corner and the bottom right corner, I'm not terrible. If you look in the top right and the bottom left, like you'd think that I let my dog like eat, like I put 2 bowls of food and I told her to pick one and she would go and eat one and be like, that's who I'm picking. But honestly, I think if I did that, I think I would have had a better result picking some of these games. Corey, I can do it. I can't.
Well, you gave it your best effort. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe not your best. You gave it an effort. You showed up for class.
I have a brother who's in like a work, like everybody's got their work brackets and stuff like that. And there's obviously like some people in there who just do it for the fun of it. And he said that he saw a coworker who picked brackets based on just if the team's uniforms were cute or not, basically.
Yep.
And he's like, she's doing better than me.
Yep.
And that's what makes the NCAA tournament so fun.
So I have the regions aren't named on these brackets. So in the region that has UConn as the 1 seed, I have UConn correct, Illinois and Iowa State correct. So I've got 3 of the 4 in that region. I have 3 of the 4 in the Houston region. Houston, Duke, and Marquette. I have 3 of the 4 in the North Carolina region, with North Carolina, Alabama, and Arizona correct. And I have 3 of the 4 in that Purdue region, with Purdue, Tennessee, and Creighton. So I'm in a pretty decent spot. The most rewarding thing for me was I'm very nervous about Purdue. I have Purdue in the championship game. I was really nervous about that second round game, and they beat the daylights out of whoever it was that they had to play.
Utah State. They doubled them up.
Okay. I'm so glad you said Utah State and remembered that. The Utah State guy, God bless the kid from Oakland who just went off.
Right.
The highlight of the tournament so far for me is Utah State's head coach, whose name is Danny Sprinkles.
Here's the fun fact about Danny Sprinkles, Corey, is that actually Danny Sprinkles is no longer the head coach of Utah State.
They fired him?
No, just announced this morning. I think after 1 year on the job, he left to take the job at Washington. So he's gone.
Oh,
already.
no kidding. It makes sense that a dude whose last name is Sprinkles goes to the Pacific Northwest where it will never stop raining.
Yes.
It's sprinkling in the Pacific Northwest. Who could have guessed?
How sweet it is. Danny Sprinkles gets the promotion.
What a sucky name.
Oh, man. I was like, I read that. I saw the graphic and I read it and I was like, oh, that's your name?
The thing is,
change it.
If your last name is Sprinkles, but you have to be Danny, right? You can't you
can be Dan.
Or Daniel. I insist on being called Dan. Your last name is Sprinkles. You got to lighten up a little bit. So I will give him credit for insisting on being Danny, even though he's almost a 50-year-old man. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Hey, I'm a 50-year-old man. Call me Danny. Mr. Sprinkles to you.
He's got to be a guy that's overly peppy. You have to be with that name. Danny Sprinkles sounds like the name of a guidance counselor in a Disney Channel original series, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the counselor for Hey Arnold.
Yes.
I gotta go see Mr. Sprinkles.
Who's always got a can-do attitude. And there's an episode in Hey Arnold where he's down on his luck and his attitude's all bad, but it's up to old Arnold to help him get back to his old self.
Come on, Mr. Sprinkles, we need you.
Come on, we need you in this vague city that I can't tell if it's New York or Chicago or wherever. Who knows? Anyways.
Coach Sprinkles. You better be a damn fine coach if your coach Sprinkles.
I lied. There could be a kid's show where there is somebody called Coach Sprinkles, but he's overly tough. You know, it's the stereotype of the gym coach that's kind of bigger and his shirt doesn't quite fit. And he's got the tracksuit on with the ball cap and he's always yelling that. Oh, it's Coach Sprinkles. And it's drop and give me 20. You know,
we hear it at Oregon State are proud to introduce Coach Confetti. Boo! Boo!
When he gets fired, they yell dropping the confetti. Coach out after 20 and 86 record in 4 seasons.
The headlines write themselves.
That's why
Please welcome to the stage our brand new coach, Coach Pin the Tail on the Donkey. Happy to have you here, Tommy.
Yes.
Tommy Balloons, the next head coach.
Tommy Balloons, the next head coach of the Longwood Creek Western State University Rails. Like that.
Welcome aboard.
Sometimes the jokes just write themselves.
Shout out Coach Sprinkles.
Shout out Coach Sprinkles. Okay, so any other NCAA bracket takes you want to get out into the ether before we kind of put a pause and I try and forget about this until Thursday?
I am in a bracket challenge with my college buddies through the ESPN app. I'm in like 4th right now. I'm in the 83rd percentile, so I'm in a pretty good spot there. I have decent chances left there. Although two people in front of me, there's 3 people in front of me. 2 of them are in the 95th percentile, so that's pretty impressive. I also filled out a women's bracket, and I am in the 21st percentile. But in the women's tournament tonight, have you seen the girl from Iowa State? They got bounced last night. Audi Crooks.
No, I did not.
She scored 40 in their first round game and is an absolute behemoth of a woman.
Oh, yes. I did see that.
She's like 6'4", and she is the defending. She's a freshman. I think she's a freshman. She's Miss Basketball, was Miss Basketball in Iowa, the most recent. She is, and I mean this respectfully and literally, she is a behemoth of a human. She looks like a offensive tackle or something like that. And yeah, she's just awesome. And then tonight's games, I think it's tonight. Paige plays tonight.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Caitlin plays tonight.
Yep.
And Juju plays tonight.
Yeah.
So thank goodness we have snow because I got some women's basketball in my tube tonight.
Yeah, that's probably going to be the play, I think. Did you see that? There's a couple headlines from the women's NCAA tournament over the weekend. One, of course, is LSU's head coach Kim Mulkey, who decided to bring up unprompted at a press conference that there's a hit, what she calls a hit piece coming out about her from the Washington Post, which made everybody, she Streisand affected herself to the point where now everybody is like waiting for the Washington Post to release that piece. Cause everybody's like, it's the classic, like she gets out there and she says, this story is unequivocally false. And everybody's like, oh, whatever she did, she's guilty. She got out in front of it, like unprompted.
With a prepared statement.
Right.
She flies off the handle and says whatever she wants, whenever she wants. She came with a prepared statement in like an LSU polo. Right. She looked like uber. Her hair was just normal. I think she had glasses on. Right. She wasn't in a freaking boa, feather boa. She was
the most interestingly dressed person in women's basketball, in college basketball.
She is going to run for public office when she gets fired. She's Tommy Tuberville. You know what I mean? She's like Bobby Petrino. Like the next thing for her is she's going to run for Senate in Arkansas or something.
Right. In Louisiana or something like that. Like, yeah, exactly. Because if you remember, she was the head coach at Baylor and was a great coach there. And of course, LSU starts shelling out money for all these sports. That's how they got her. That's how they got Angel Reese. That's how they got the Van Lith girl, I think is her name, from Louisville to transfer into LSU from a year ago.
Yes.
Like LSU's made a concerted effort in their sports to be number one in everything. And they're throwing money at things. And she's one of them. Anyway, she's intense. That's the best way to put it. That's the best way I could put it there. And so anyway, she Streisand affected herself. The Streisand effect, Corey, is, of course, Barbara Streisand had a home in California that was like in the middle of nowhere. Some nature photographer was getting overhead shots, and it just happened to get a little piece of her property. And those things would have been released, but nobody would have even known what the heck they were about or whose house it was. Barbara Streisand tried to sue that photographer, and in the process put so much attention on it that everybody knew where she lived from that point on. So sometimes the best thing to do is to shut up when you're going to be caught in the crosshairs of something, because it's going to make you look pretty guilty, or at least bring attention that you weren't otherwise seeking. The other thing was the Stanford girl. Did you see this? There was I can't remember her name, but she's one of their better players, and she fouled out late in the game, and you could see her mouth like, what the F? Like to the camera, which is like normal. But then you could see her walk past the ref, and somebody's like, posted the video and like, I'll let you decide what you think she said. And it looked like she kind of didn't like directly look at the ref, but as she was walking past, kind of turned her head and just basically said like F you to the ref, which somebody's like, nah, man, the NCAA tournament for women's is way more interesting than the men's tournament this year. Like
she's
all
a
these
stud,
players,
and is she like 6'6" or 6'7"? She
something
is
like that.
Huge.
Yeah.
Cameron Brink is her name.
Yes. Yeah, that's who it is.
She's enormous. She's like, so they played Iowa State last night. So this Iowa State has this Audi Crooks who's 6'4", and like I said, she's just built like an offensive lineman. This Stanford girl is like, she dwarfs her as far as like height goes. She makes 6'4" Audi Crooks look small, but she is so tall and slender. She's really good. Really good basketball player.
Anyways,
the women's tournament's awesome, by the way.
It has way more star power than the men. Who does the men have? Zach Edey. And by the way, did you watch that Purdue game? That guy is the biggest person in college basketball, and he gets so many whistles that it'll make James Harden blush. Like it's insane.
And one move. They'll get it to him on the post. He'll take 2 dribbles. He'll swing his elbow through. He'll knock the guy in the temple and hit a little baby hook right in front of the rim.
Right. And one, count it.
Yep. Cool, man.
By the way, the other thing, did Caitlin Clark get like punched in the face over the weekend?
No, I think she punched someone.
I thought like
I think she punched someone.
Did she? I thought it was like somebody was running by and like she got elbowed in the face. I'll look up the video later, but like that's anyway.
There's some fun stuff happening right now in women's basketball. I wish my bracket wasn't in the bottom 1/5 of all brackets filled. Bottom, I'm in the 21st percentile with my women's bracket.
Oh my goodness.
Not great, Bob.
Not great. Well, that's because I'm not in it, because if I was in it, I probably would have made you look better by default. That's the thing about the women's bracket. Not as many people do them. So that means that like you feed out a lot of the people who are just like making them to make them. Like if you're making a women's bracket, you're pretty deliberate about making the women's bracket. Anyway, there's our speech today.
Actually, I watched so much basketball this weekend, CJ. It was just constantly on. I had high school games on for the boys' state basketball tournament. Can I go back to that really quickly? I just wanted to throw. Did you see Fertile Beltrami's jerseys?
No.
They had, like most jerseys, whatever, the design on the front, but there's always some sort of striping or piping or something along the side, right? Right. An Argyle design or just a triple stripe or whatever. They had like a solid blue stripe down the side of the jersey from the armpit down the side, even down the leg of the shorts.
Okay.
And then it was like, it was all like a constellation or something. It was almost like it was sparkled up, like not, it didn't actually sparkle, but it looked like stars. It looked like the night sky. And I'm just wondering, is that actually what it is with those jerseys? Or is it did they just choose to go with like paint splatter dots, like white dots on a dark blue background? I don't know if you noticed that at all or if you saw that, but that stood out to me. I thought it was really unique. I hadn't seen jerseys like that before that had that specific design. So I thought that was cool.
Right.
And then in the 2A tournament, boy, I was rooting hard for Lake City. Of course, CJ, Lake City, the birthplace of water skiing.
Yes.
But also me.
Oh.
So I was rooting for Lake City pretty hard now, and it was a bummer they couldn't come away with that.
You don't they don't have like welcome to Lake City, home of water skiing and Corey Tackman. Your name's not up there with it?
Just birthplace of water skiing is all there is.
Well, you're just a humble guy. You don't want to take up, like, you don't need that for yourself.
I want my name on a sign that says home of Corey Tackman pretty badly.
Do you like you want your childhood home to have like, this is where he lived, and like get tours of your bedroom or something? I
think that'd be awesome. Wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah, I mean, sure.
Like I played sports. I love sports. Like, every town that's got a court named after somebody is because that person did something huge. Like, wouldn't that be awesome to be like Corey Tackman Court? Now, I sucked at basketball, so that'll never happen. But like Wouldn't that be, there's like, get your face on a box of Wheaties, get commemorated on a stamp. Outside your town, it says home of your name. Wouldn't that be incredible? I've done nothing to justify that, nor am I actually professionally or personally pursuing it. I have nothing on a resume that would justify it. I just think it would be cool.
There's no Corey
street
Tackman
name?
There's no Corey Tackman Field in Arlington.
Oh, no, that would be such a joke.
The Corey Tackman Stadium at whoever field.
No, if there's going to be anything named for me ever, it's going to be a dead end street. Corey Tackman dead end is all that's going to be.
Oh no, you gave them the wrong directions. They went down the Tackman Road.
You ended up at the You ended up at the Tackman dead end, didn't you? Yeah, that's not going anywhere.
That's not going anywhere. See, I feel like someday, depending on what you do, you could get like the Corey Tackman press box.
That'd be cool. That'd be really cool. Yeah, just throwing it out there for whoever.
Local ADs, just so you know, Corey Tackman is not above or below taking bribes. So
if you want and I'll just throw this out there right now. If you want the radio station to broadcast significantly more of your games, you could name the booth after me.
Yeah. Broadcasting live from the Corey Tackman press box. I'm Corey Tackman.
Great to be here. Yeah. All right.
My favorite press box because it has my name right here.
Yes.
I'm right here, this sign. And it's just you, like with the two thumbs.
On the front door.
Yeah.
On the front door to the booth. Welcome.
Every time you open the door to a press box, it just has, like how grocery stores have like a doon to like let you know somebody's in. It just says Corey saying welcome.
How about this? I could just technically call every press box the Corey Tackman press box.
Who's to stop you?
If I get like a big head of just me going.
You get a cardboard cutout of yourself like we have a George Strait in our studio?
Yeah, I just duct tape it to every door of every press box that I go to throughout the high school season.
Uh-huh.
Wow, what an honor. Broadcasting live from the Corey Tackman press box today in Battle Lake. Join me tomorrow in the Corey Tackman press box from Park Rapids as we broadcast softball.
For a softball, it's just the table you brought. You just taped a cardboard cutout of yourself on each side.
That'd be awesome.
I think like if you did Wadena Deer Creek softball this spring, and you just said that it's the Corey Tackman press box at the WDC softball field, who's to stop you? Really? This is
a super funny idea, but would there be anything less likable that I could possibly do?
Maybe if you actually went on the air like during your morning show and you said broadcasting live from the Corey Tackman studios or something like that. Corey Tackman presents the Corey Tackman studios. It's the big show with Corey Tackman. That maybe, because more people will just hear that because it's in the morning.
From high atop the Phoenix building in downtown Wadena, broadcasting live from the Corey Tackman studios, it's the big show with Corey Tackman.
The Phoenix building, or as I like to call it, the Corey Tackman. Some people have called it the Corey Tackman building. Not me, but some people.
He's come a long ways since Tackman dead end. You could say he's risen from the ashes, broadcasting from the Phoenix building. Oh, it's exactly right. Every single morning, it would just be counties worth of people going, ugh.
You can hear all of the eyes rolling into the back of their heads at once. You could get like our voice guy to do like an official liner for it too, so it sounds really prim and proper. And
what time did you wake up this morning? 6 o'clock. Everyone, when the big show intro started playing, the whole county went ugh.
The whole 4-county area groaned. Our station manager listened to it and just,
I got to tell you, we love the music. The bits are great, but we had to turn it off because that pretentious jerk in his morning show.
All right. Well, okay. We're going to start working on that on the Corey Tackman press box after the show.
Okay, sure.
In the meantime, the Minnesota Timberwolves from the Corey Tackman Target Center in Minneapolis had a season sweep over the Golden State Warriors. They beat them 4 times this season. It is the first time that they've swept the Warriors since 1997.
That's wild to me. It's not like the Warriors have been great in that time frame.
Right.
They were great for a chunk of it, but not 97. They weren't.
And the Wolves were great in the early 2000s, but like, yeah.
Right. That's wild. Okay.
It's wild, and that's where they're at. And everybody, of course, is bringing up Draymond Green quotes, because Draymond Green had that famous quote a couple of years ago after playing, I think it was Phoenix, saying like, you got to play your big game to play us. This isn't the Minnesota Timberwolves or something like that. This is real basketball. And so, of course, everybody's been posting that graphic and going, get swept, bozo. And the other thing was, they're making fun of Draymond Green for the clip he had when he was during the All-Star game, doing that like alternate broadcast when Karl Anthony Towns was going off for a bunch of points. And Draymond Green's like, typical Karl Anthony Towns, he scores 60, but there's teams down by 30 or something like that. And which, by the way, gets mad at him for that, gets mad at Ant for not trying. So what do you want? Like, do you want to try hard, or do you want somebody who's like mailing it in? What do you?
I don't know when he said the first thing, but he was probably right. And the thing about Karl was kind of funny. I don't want to say that out loud. It's
generational hating, but it's kind of funny.
I don't want to say that out loud too much, but he was a little on the nose with both of those points, probably.
Right. And also now, the insecurity is always loud. Tweet that he had after Rudy Gobert punched Kyle Anderson.
Oh, yeah.
Which then Rudy Gobert, after Draymond Green got kicked out of that game, tweeted insecurity is loud after the Wolves beat them. So
good, yeah.
And now everybody's tweeting insecurity is loud. And the final thing on this funny little mini, it's not a big rivalry, but this funny little mini rivalry that the Wolves have had with the Warriors here is Steph Curry hit a dagger, according to the Golden State Warriors Twitter page. Dagger, their official team account. Steph hit a dagger 3 with 3.5 minutes to go, down by 3. So it tied the game. Is that what you would call a dagger, Corey?
To me, if you were to ask me to describe a dagger shot, a dagger is the thing that is it's the kill shot, right? In the times of sword fighting, you would put down your sword, brandish your dagger, and finish the job. That's what the dagger's for.
Right.
So it was more like a nail file.
Right.
You cut his fingernail. You like cut the fingernails maybe just a little too close. Like, ooh, careful there. When you tie, it's not a dagger if you tie it. It's getting nicked when you're getting your hair cut.
And it's especially not if there was like 5 seconds to go and he hits a 3. It's not the way I would use the word, a little more justifiable. 3.5 minutes to go is maybe not the best way to.
If it's a dagger, it's over.
Right. The dagger's like you're up by 7 with like a minute to go and you hit a 3. That's dagger. That's a dagger.
It's quite literally not over when it's tied.
Right.
Like it could end tied, and but then you just have to play more.
You can't hit a dagger shot when you're losing, unless it's a buzzer beater. And there's 3.5 minutes to go in the game.
Unless it's a buzzer beater to lose by less.
Right. Yeah.
Dagger. You know what? Shout out NBA social media accounts are unbelievable. I spent many, many years watching Timberwolves Twitter. And if that's all I paid attention to, I'd be like, the Timberwolves are the greatest team in the history of the world. They're the Monstars reincarnated as NBA players. Right. And then I started to like zoom in on these videos, and it would be like Corey Brewer locks up red hot James Harden. And it was an unbelievable Josh Okogie. Are you kidding me? And then I'd look at the score, and the Timberwolves were losing by 29 with 5 minutes left in the game. But cool stop, Josh Okogie. We're proud of you, bro.
Pretty much how it goes. And especially when they'll conveniently take the score bug out of the videos.
Yeah.
That also is a thing.
Yeah.
But the Wolves ended up coming back and winning last night, 114-110. They turned the ball over like 8 times in the first quarter. Not great, but in the fourth quarter, they had 1 turnover. The way that the Wolves lock in late in games is amazing. And I'll get to that point in a second, but there's one thing I want to finish up on the dagger point.
Yeah.
Is that the Warriors tweeted that out. The Wolves, after winning the game, they posted that meme of like what looks to be like a dash hound, a miniature dash hound, like glaring like this with a Timberwolves hat photoshopped on that says dagger ? Which is what I'm here for. And all the comments were like, what dagger? We're losing. Anyway, and the Warriors, as of this morning, the tweet had been deleted.
Oh, cowards. At least stand behind it.
Right. Don't do that. They got clowned too much on social media. They had to take it off. Anyway, the Wolves won. Naz Reid had 20 points, 17 of which in the first half. Anthony Edwards finished with 23 points, 3 big free throws at the end, including one to ice the game, to put him up by 4 with like 15 seconds to go. And Rudy Gobert had 17 points, 12 rebounds. Like, it was, nobody really took over, but it was a nice, solid game from everybody. Conley had some good shots. The thing that the Wolves do late in games, and I know that you can't watch all of the Wolves games, Corey, but when you get a chance to watch games, the Wolves do such a good job. Everybody talks about Rudy Gobert now. He can't guard on the perimeter, which is false. Like, I've seen him this season. He can guard on the perimeter. He can't get like out there, but he can stand by like the free throw line and a step off, and he can get from wing to wing, and he can contest, and he can get there, and he can do that. The Wolves do such a good job defensively of getting to passes. In the NBA, you always watch. It's pass to the corner, pass to the wing, or it's like a skip pass from one wing to another, extra pass to the corner, wide open 3. It's that extra pass that always gets you the wide open shot, and teams never get the extra pass on the Wolves. They do such a great job of closing out and finding the ball. Off-ball defense at times can be a little iffy, but their on-ball defense, whether it's just one-on-one or whether it's the way that they move around on the floor, you watch them and you see why they're one of the best defenses in the NBA, just off the way that they go about their business.
They're 4th in the NBA. Last time I saw or heard net rating defensively. They're awesome. They're awesome defensively. And Rudy can move around, like you mentioned. The difference between this team, we think anyway, and like what Utah had and those Utah teams, is the rest of the defenders on those Utah teams were not good defenders. So Rudy was chasing a lot, and even though he can in limited opportunities, that's not what he's built to do.
He got tired out.
Now he can he can get from block to block or from wing to wing or whatever it is, but the rest of the defenders are so good out on the perimeter that allows him to kind of use his lateral quickness and short burst to get to the rim and kind of protect. They defensively is not the problem for the Wolves. It isn't. It hasn't been all year. It won't be going forward. There's a dozen games left, if that, in the regular season. Defense is not going to be the issue. What they did in this game is they didn't turn the ball over late, and they were probably still a little stagnant. So we're judging this on the result of a win, but they get a little stale and they turn the ball over. The game I went to against Sacramento, they turned the ball over like 4 possessions in a row to start the 4th quarter. That's what they do. Right. And it's not the total of turnovers. It's that they happen, when they happen. So if you're going to have 8 turnovers in the first quarter, you better not turn the ball over in the 4th quarter. They've been doing it the opposite, which is what has bit them, is they'll have 8 turnovers in the 4th quarter along with a stagnant offense. That was remedied, at least in last night's victory.
Yeah, exactly. So they play Detroit on Wednesday. The schedule softens up a tiny bit before getting ramped back up again. But there you go. A quick standings update. The Wolves are, again, competing for that top spot in the Western Conference. It's pretty much, and maybe I haven't looked at it close enough, but the Western Conference has pretty much come down to a 3-team race for the top spot. The Clippers have fallen far enough behind to where they could legitimately fall to like the 5 seed after being like in the NBA's top echelon for a little bit, because Kawhi Leonard went down and they just haven't been able to recover. But the Nuggets right now are 50-21. They've won 3 games in a row. They're at the top spot, which again, last week, I know that they were not expected to win that game. They could have pulled that out against Denver. Would have been huge because the Wolves are currently a game back of the Nuggets right now. The Thunder are a half game back. So that's where things sit for the top 3 spots in the West. The Wolves are going to get a top 3 spot. What that spot officially ends up being, we'll have to see, but there's 11 games to go. We'll see what happens. The Wolves, I think, have one more game with Denver, a couple more with Phoenix. They have one more with the Lakers. They have some Western Conference games to clean up with, but they're done playing the Warriors. They're done playing the Thunder for the rest of the season. So we'll see what happens from here on out.
CJ, we've got Twins baseball that opens up regular season this week on Thursday. We are going to have, we're going to have a lot of baseball discussion just throughout a very long baseball season, of course. But we're going to dive into, as this week rolls along, some more Twins talk and have a little fun with some baseball. I've got some baseball at large questions, or one question really in particular that I want to throw your way. We kind of took a few tangents today, so let's hold that off until tomorrow and the rest of the week. But a lot of Twins talk, since we're not going to get into high school spring sports quite yet. Let's plan on a lot of Twins talk the rest of the week, because I think there's some good stuff to be had, and some big picture conversations around Twins baseball that are worth having and exciting to talk about.
Right. The only big Twins news from the weekend, Justin Topa, who the Twins acquired in the Jorge Polanco trade, along with Anthony DeSclafani. DeSclafani probably not going to pitch for the Twins this year. Yikes. Justin Topa is going to miss some time with a knee injury, I think is what it sounds like. He backed up home plate, I think, and either tweaked something or banged something or whatever. He's going to start the season on the IL. And that's pretty much it. We'll get full in depth of that, but that's just the headline there.
May he rest in peace.
May he rest in peace. The Twins play actual baseball games this weekend. This week.
Thursday.
So they're Thursday, Kansas City. Here we go. It's happening.
Screw you, George Brett.
We'll talk about all of that.
Never liked you, Billy Butler.
Alex Gordon? Was that the
Yeah. Zach Greinke, you seem weird but cool. I would like to hang out with you.
They had a 2014 Mickey Mouse championship because they completely fell out, or 2015, because they completely fell off the face of the earth after that. Like, that team just imploded. Anyway, we'll talk about that all throughout the week. But go Twins, though. This has been the Morning Sports Desk for Monday, March 25th.